Give me the Tigers. Give me the Tigers. Let's see a crazy upset.
I'm horny. Give it to me. I love it.
Let's get wild.
You're what?
I'm excited. What?
You heard him. You heard him.
Let me cook.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. Don't think got love before us. Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance. Throwing bands and then the dance.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. My name is Ryan Doyle, and I'm the co-host of this beautiful show that we try to put on every week. I'm joined by Mr. Robbie Bergstone, my other co-host, slightly more handsome than myself, and then the man, the king, the guy who makes this show run, the executive producer, Connor Doyle. I know, hold the applause.
Hello.
Most handsome member of the podcast as well. It's hard to keep up with Connor. It's difficult.
All the accolades. We appreciate you taking in this podcast wherever you are, Spotify, YouTube. If it's your first time joining us, welcome. If you're a return listener, we thank you for your continued support. We're recording this on the evening of November 2nd, right after the Texas Rangers won the World Series.
I didn't mean for that to happen. I knocked over my mic and it hit the button. That's apparently my mic is not happy. That I was going to start clapping for you guys, so I set it for the claps, and I just turned off.
That just looked like you were just so angry.
No, I was literally trying to come up with
guy over there.
I was happy for you guys, and I just knocked over my thing, and it immediately turned off my camera.
That's a guy that lost $1,000 on the bet for the World Series.
Damn it!
I have not cared about the outcome of the World Series since the Phillies lost. Since then, I was perfectly happy with either team winning. I'm happy for you guys that it was the Rangers, and in somewhat dominant fashion too, right? 5 games. That's a quick series. So
the old gentleman's sweep, winning it in Arizona. We'll get to that. We'll get to a whole lot more. College football, NFL, basketball started, hockey's up and running. Just the absolute pinnacle of sports in North America. But Connor, what are we starting with today?
Ryan, you fortunately you already mentioned it, and you are repping the merch there with the hat that you've got on, the Texas Rangers hat.
The podcast notes ahead of time, you would know this.
This is my thing. I asked Connor what we're starting. I know what we're starting with. Is true. You jackass.
That's aggressive.
Sorry.
But as Ryan stated, the Texas Rangers did take the World Series in 5 games. The Diamondbacks only taken 1 game off the Rangers in this series. And Corey Seager ended up winning the World Series MVP to become a 2-time World Series MVP. He had one with the Dodgers and now one with the Texas Rangers. Some obviously very key players in this win. Adolis Garcia, obviously he wasn't able to play in the last 2 games, but unbelievable hitting throughout the entirety of the playoffs. Just
the MVP of the overall playoffs, probably.
Yes, 100%. I think if he played the whole thing, he would have been the MVP. I think he would have beat out Seager for it.
I heard the mayor of Houston gave him the keys of the city since he owns them now.
That's crazy.
That's crazy,
but
man.
I mean, along with the guys that kind of performed all season, I think some guys really stepped out of the shadows, the woodwork, if you will. I think Nathan Eovaldi kind of struggled a little bit through the regular season, but in the playoffs, I mean, especially the World Series, kind of came out of nowhere.
He had no business shutting them out. Absolutely not.
No.
They should have put up so many more runs, and he somehow got through 6 scoreless. It was extremely impressive.
You run that simulation 100 different times. There is not one other time that he doesn't give up a run.
Right.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the field, the Diamondbacks guy, he was hitting the Rangers through 6.
Yeah.
He did literally all you could ask for.
As soon as the Rangers broke the no-hitter and got a run, it was over. Because there was no reason for the Diamondbacks to be losing at that point. You hadn't given up a hit through 6. You had all of these base runners the whole game. And as soon as they gave up a run and broke up no-hitter, over. It was done. Just completely took the wind out of their sails.
And I think the fate was kind of sealed when the Diamondback center fielder made that error, and then he missed the ball and ended up letting 2 runs in right there. And then the Rangers took it from
I'll
there.
be completely honest. I know it was 1-0 going into the 9th inning, but I turned off the game because I was that confident that the Rangers were going to win. You could just tell. There was no energy in the stadium. The Diamondbacks looked defeated. To me, like it was like this game's over. It's one run and it's over. I know it sounds like a Phillies fan leaving the game early. Fuck the Phillies. But I mean, it just felt like it. You could just tell. So
I thought it was also impressive from a managerial standpoint. I know you said you didn't watch the end of it, Robbie, but they elected not to put Leclerc in.
Yeah.
They stayed with the hot hand, which is hard to do, especially how good Leclerc has been the entire season. And they elected to keep him out and to keep the hot hand in, and obviously it paid off. So
That man was throwing some cheddar. His last couple at bats, some of his breaking balls were
gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it was gross.
I mean, it was 100% the right managerial call. The Rangers went 11-0 in the postseason on the road.
That's unbelievable.
Sweeping the 99 win Rays in 2-0, beating Baltimore, 102 win Baltimore.
Sweeping Baltimore.
Was that a sweep or was that?
Yeah, no, we didn't lose to the Astros.
Yeah.
Wow. God.
yeah.
Just a superhero run from that franchise who, again, if you had bet that it would have been a Rangers Diamondbacks World Series, both those teams 2 seasons away from both losing 100 games in a season.
Games. Yeah.
I saw like the preseason odds for the Rangers winning the World Series. They were the longest odds to win the World Series since like 2000. So they were 50-1. The next closest was the Royals when they won, and they were 33-1. So I mean, just a complete underdog coming into the season and to pull it out.
Which, like, looking back on it, the Rangers actually had enough talent. I mean, you got Seager and Simeon. Obviously some of these bigger trade deals came at the trade deadline, but the Rangers did definitely, before the season started, have one of the better farm systems in baseball too.
Well, let's not forget that you did this without Jacob deGrom too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. I think that was the idea going into the season. Like they should be better. They have bought older pitchers, but like very solid pitchers, and then you still win it with the most talented pitcher on the roster. Probably, I know he's a little bit older and didn't pitch well this season, but still probably the most talented pitcher on the roster. So,
I mean when you have 2 of the 3 highest paid players in the MLB, and one doesn't play in the playoffs, and then one was fighting an injury and then got taken off the World Series list. It's pretty crazy.
You could be the Mets and have the highest paid players and not even make the playoffs. So you could be the Mets, but
that's a tough one. So yeah, shout out to the Texas Rangers. A lot of Rangers fans would say about 10 years in the making there for the World Series because we felt like we should have had one, which leads us into, ironically, our next headline. Nelson Cruz is officially retiring from a Major League Baseball.
Speaking of that run 10 years ago,
who was a big part of that World Series Texas Rangers team 10 years ago, unfortunately has caught a lot of the blame and the flack
one
for
strike away.
one of those.
I feel like you should not have caught any of the flack for that though.
But he did.
I also think
he's playing great. He just made that one error.
Going back to that, it's like he was playing way too far in. He shouldn't have been playing that far in. And then the Joe Buck call of "We will see you tomorrow night" fucking lives in my head so rent free because every Rangers fan knew we were losing Game 7.
Yeah,
we just knew it as soon as that ball went over the fence. That's the series.
Bye.
Bye.
So I believe he played 19 years Major League Baseball. Obviously had a very solid career. So congratulations to Nelson Cruz on his retirement, and hopefully we wish all the best to him. In terms of baseball, that's all I have. Obviously, the MLB season has concluded with the Texas Rangers as your World Series champions.
Quick look forward to next year. I only saw the top odds for the World Series next year, and they are the Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves
are the favorites to win. So naturally, they'll throw. But no, that's your quick MLB preview for next year. All right, continuing on.
So I also want to mention that the last time that Dallas Sports had something like this, so the Rangers went to the World Series in 2010 and lost, and then the Mavericks went to the 2011 Finals and won. So now the Mavericks have to go to the Finals and lose, is what's probably.
I'm okay with that.
or the Stars could go to the Stanley Cup Finals and lose. Either way,
there you go. There is some sort of dichotomy. Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of the Dallas Mavericks, we're going to get into the NBA. Obviously, we didn't have like a normal podcast last week, and this happened after the live stream that we did. But James Harden is now officially a Los Angeles Clipper after being traded from the Houston Rockets. He has not played his first game yet, but he will be joining the court. It's either the next game or the game after that with Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. And as Ryan said, 5 years ago, this would have been like insane.
Yeah, somebody on my career is just cooking 5 years ago.
Would this team 5 years ago have had a better record than the 73-9 Warriors?
I mean, you feel like they compete for it. I mean,
I feel
right?
like
Like
people
they feel like they
forget-
have to be there.
talent wise, if there's like no load management, if they're going for the record, right? Like I feel like they have to be close.
Yeah, I would agree.
I feel like people forget that 73-9 team did not include Kevin Durant.
Right.
I think everyone forgets
he
that.
joined the 73-19. That's why
I know.
KD gets so much shit for it. Because like,
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
you joined literally the team with the best record of all time.
Of all
Like,
time.
And you're
Yeah.
supposed to
Only ring
retire.
chasing.
You're supposed to retire as a top 10 player of all time if everything
Right.
works out. Like
If that doesn't tell you how good Steph Curry was around that time, I just
That was his unanimous MVP season, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
You
Well,
join unanimous MVP
Actually,
as you're
I
like
don't
second or
think it
third in
was.
MVP voting.
Well, because he got back-to-back MVPs. I think the first one was unanimous, and I think that was 2014, 2015. And then the second one wasn't, but that was because he
Probably
won
voter
back-to-back.
fatigue or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know who was in it. Probably Braun or something. So yeah, James Harden is now on the Clippers. That is a thing now. That is happening. Friday, the NBA in-season, that's going to be tomorrow, so probably when this comes out. The NBA in-season tournament is starting on Friday. We have covered that in a previous podcast on how all that's going to work. There's 5 separate groups, and there's 6 teams to a group, and they play, and then essentially it'll culminate into a kind of finals in December, which someone will be crowned the in-season tournament champion. And the way that the schedule, I know a lot of people were worried about like the scheduling and stuff, but as a soothing thing to fans, you only end up playing one more game if you do end up becoming the champion. So they scheduled it around the season that they had already scheduled, so it'll be 83 games instead of 82 games. So not that much more fatigue, obviously.
And the games for the in-season tournament still count towards your regular season
Correct.
record.
That is
so
correct.
they're not playing extra games. Those games just like they've
Yes.
taken a select few of the games, and those will count towards the in-season tournament. Also, the courts for the in-season tournament are horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They are really, really bad.
Don't know
Yeah.
who greenlit that one, but they need to be fired.
The Pelicans one is like green and purple. Like, I don't want to watch that. Like, that's gonna hurt my eyes.
And people were like complaining in the comments whenever they posted that. They're like, okay, so we can have these courts, but we can't have the trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy on the finals court,
Right?
because they took that other like that.
We
doesn't
can have
make
this
any
trophy that no one is even going to recognize, but we
Yeah.
can't have the Larry O'Brien trophy on it. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
sense. It does make sense. I swear.
sense. So yeah, speaking of the NBA, obviously it's very early into the regular season, but we're gonna just take a quick look at the standings, just to kind of see some surprises and some interesting things. The Memphis Grizzlies
Yeah, that's
Well,
wild. I was just looking at that.
are 0-5.
0-5.
It's a tough look to the season. A tough start
And
to the
not
season with that
like a
job.
close 0-5, like a
No.
minus 12 point differential.
Yeah, it's
0-5.
pretty bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, they're
Tough scene.
not good.
Tough scene.
They're not very good. But speaking of successful Dallas teams, the Dallas Mavericks are tied with the Boston Celtics for the only undefeated team in the league right now. So
Have they figured it out?
Celtics look fucking
Celtics are
good.
cooking.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kinda
disgusting.
It's kinda
Porzingis
scary.
looks as comfortable as I've ever seen him. I think like working in Washington, being the main guy and actually finally being healthy, like he's in a really good system with a lot of really good players around him, and they're going to be really fucking scary.
On the other end of the Eastern Conference, another disappointing team so far, the Miami Heat at 1-4. Although it seems like the Heat do this every year now, where they start off
Yes,
so slow.
exactly.
Like, should we blow it up? And then all of a sudden they're in the playoffs and make the finals. So
yeah.
I don't think it's a panic button yet. But
Of teams that normally start slow, but apparently have started a little hot, the Warriors are also off to a 4-1
Yeah.
start. Have
They usually start
good
slow.
point differential. Look, Steph looks good. I mean,
Clay hit a game winner the other day.
obviously super early, only 4 or 5 games into the season, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's going to turn out to be another good one.
The defending champion Nuggets are 4-1. Like I said, it's so early in the season, it's really hard to tell anything. But I'll just mention real quick: Luka Doncic had a 19-point game the other night and is still averaging like 40, 12, and 10.
It's gross.
So it's like,
disgusting.
what?
Disgusting.
It just absolutely
through
filthy.
like the first 2 games, I texted Connor. I was like, "Oh, Luka's averaging 42, 12, and 10 in the first 2 games."
It's like and then he did it again.
He's all right. He's all right. Not top 5 though. Not top 5.
Pretty good at basketball. I won't lie to you.
The Hornets are 1-3, but they
the
started
Hornets-
1-0. So I'm taking that as a dub.
Dude,
They were over 500 for one day. So
There it is.
Let me read you something real quick because I read this to my roommates last night. I want to read you guys. So currently, the Charlotte Hornets have 10 active players on the roster, which is really low for an NBA team. They have 10 active
Isn't it like
players.
normally 12?
It's like 12 or 13 or something like that. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they have 10 that are listed. Let me read you their 5 bench players. This is their 5 bench players. Are you ready for this? Or the ones that have been playing at least?
Please.
All right, here you go. So it's Mark Williams, Theo Maladon,
Maladon,
Nick Richards,
Dog.
JT Thor,
Dog.
and Nick Smith Jr.
You're also forgetting Brandon Miller, I think, has been coming off the bench too.
Who's starting? No, he's not.
Mellow Ball,
Nope.
Gordon Hayward, PJ, Terry Rozier, and Mark Williams are starting.
Oh, is Mark starting?
Starting.
Oh, the Miller's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Dude, Theo Maladon, Nick Richards, JT Thor, and Nick Smith Jr. Who?
They're
have
dogs.
10 players.
Dogs.
Hey, Terry Rozier's been cooking.
Bro, Scary Terry still got it for real.
This
Scary
team is
Terry still got it.
awful.
It's so bad. It's really abysmal, to be honest.
Dude, I don't know if I had them at my bottom, but I certainly do now.
What do you mean you didn't have them at your bottom? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we mentioned that they're going to be really bad.
I didn't know if they were going to be like that.
They are
The
second or
worst.
third lowest win total for like Vegas preseason odds.
Charlotte sports are in fucking shambles right now.
really-
It's just
I think
an
that's the
shambles.
nicest way to put it.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll talk more about the Panthers, though. We'll talk more
No,
about
yeah,
them
we'll
later
get to
on,
that.
but
Hey, you have the Canes. They're way
They're,
better.
they're in
than-
Raleigh, though. They're not in Charlotte, so they're not a Charlotte sports team.
You got to take the wins where you can
Yeah,
get
it's
them, man. You really do.
The Canes have not looked great to start the season. They're picking it up a little bit, but they went on a little losing streak there to start the season.
They're still second in the Metropolitan.
Yeah,
Shockingly.
they're still very good, but
Yeah. Scoabs.
All right. In terms of the NBA and the headlines and stuff, that is pretty much it, unless you guys wanted to cover anything else. But we are going to get into a quick little game, a quick little sidebar here. It's going to be 20 questions, but it's not going to be individual for each of them. Ryan and Robbie are going to participate in 20 questions together. So basically, one of them is going to ask a question, and then the next one asks the other question, and the ticker keeps going down. We'll see how quickly they can get it. I will tell you, gentlemen. So it's going to be an active NBA player is who you're trying to guess. He's currently playing, and he is an NBA player. That is who you're trying to guess. So who you guys can work it out between yourselves who you want to.
Just want
to
to
ask
alternate
the question.
questions.
yeah. Walter, you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
I'll go first.
Yep.
So he's an active player, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does he play in the East or West Conference?
I'm going to need a yes or no question, please.
Does he play in the East?
Yes.
Okay.
Does he play for a team that made the playoffs last year?
Yes. 18.
Is he a front court player?
Yes.
Huh. All right. Pulling up my list.
Does he play for a team in the northeastern part of the United States?
Yes.
Look at the fact that
No. No. Sorry. I'm going to say no.
So he's a Midwestern
My bad.
player.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
So is he in Chicago? Right?
Well,
Or
it's
is
not your turn, is it?
Hey, I'm consoling with my teammate here. You know.
Fair enough.
So he's a front court player in the East that is not in the Northeast, but
Yes.
Connor's kind of shaky about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he on the Chicago Bulls?
No.
Okay, just throwing that out there. Just
Is
see
he
if
on
you
the
can
Cleveland Cavaliers?
No.
The Wizards.
No, they didn't make the playoffs. That ass.
Ah, good call. Good call.
Is he in the Eastern Central Division?
Let me double check. Sorry.
Sorry,
Bucks-
I was
Bucks-
asking divisions
Bucks-
because I thought I would have
Bucks,
to look at it.
Cavaliers, Bulls, Pacers, Pistons.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say just
We said
so
the
I don't
Bulls. We said the Cavs. So it's either
Pacers that make the playoffs.
Bucks. Yeah, so it's Bucks. He's on the Bucks. Don't even waste a question on that.
Okay. All right.
He's a front court player.
Is
was-
it Chris Middleton?
No.
I feel like it's fair to just start guessing players. Is it Giannis? I mean,
No.
okay.
Does he have a twin?
Yes.
Which one? Both on the same team.
I forgot they're both there.
They're both fucking there.
I forgot they're both there.
I don't even have. It's
Yeah.
Robin Lopez. Isn't
Yeah,
it
it is.
I knew it. I didn't even think for a second it was Brooke Lopez. I knew you would pick Robin Lopez.
I will say I should not have had as much hesitation on the Northeast question for some reason.
You fucked yourself.
For some reason, I moved Wisconsin over to state. But yeah, no, it was Robin Lopez. Initially, I put Brooke, and I was like, it'd kind of be funny if I put Robin Lopez. So,
well, once it wasn't Middleton or Giannis, it had to be one of them, unless it's like Giannis's younger brother.
Oh yeah, Bobby Portis. He's in there. Yeah, that was a pretty good effort. That was pretty impressive, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We're going to move on from 20 questions now. We're going to get back into some sports. I have two NFL headlines, one of them being revolving around the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis had given himself the NFL's October 31st trade deadline as his personal deadline to decide whether to make a switch not only at head coach but at general manager. Davis ultimately fired Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler from these positions Tuesday night, less than 2 years after he hired them away from the New England Patriots. So it kind of looks like the Raiders are blowing it up and starting from scratch is what it looks like.
Connor, I think you'll agree with this next take.
Yeah.
But 3 Devontae Adams, holy shit.
It's pretty bad.
My dude should have had 150 yards and 2 tutties on Monday night. He was wide open, and Jimmy G's back there throwing the ball with his damn eyes closed. I mean, you could just see him after the game, like he's just frustrated, and like he knows like he's now stuck on this team that's not very good. You know, he's getting up there in age. He's a great receiver still. He's still going to be able to play for a while, but I think has that feeling of I'm kind of stuck right now, and it sucks.
He is.
They're also starting Aiden O'Connell this weekend. Jimmy G is being benched.
I saw that.
So we will see Aiden O'Connell, AOC, starting for the Raiders this week. Like, he already played a game, and it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So, I think the Raiders are a potential trade partner with the Bears. If the Bears end up with 2 top 5 picks and they decide they don't want to take a quarterback, I think that they would be a team that could be looking to move up and take Caleb Williams or Drake May.
And they're just going to ask so much for that.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Those picks are just, I mean, obviously the Raiders are going to be up there too. I'm actually shocked they've won as many games as they have.
Yeah, I saw they were 3-4 on Monday. I'm like, how?
Yeah, I agree.
Justin Fields, Devontae Adams combo, question mark? Ayo.
Kind of crazy.
If you're the Bears,
get Darnell Mooney out of there. That dude's a fucking bum.
If you're the Bears,
if you thought any of the Bears receivers other than DJ Moore was going to be good this year, that's on you. I mean, we could
not a receiver. I thought Cole Kmet would be slightly. I mean, he's been fine. He's serviceable.
He's fine. Yeah,
he's like tight end 8 right now in fantasy.
He's not that bad. Yeah. But if you're the Bears, Robbie, as you were discussing, do you think they're at the point where they draft Caleb Williams?
The Bears?
I feel like it's so hard to spend 2 pretty high draft picks on quarterbacks within like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like that just proves that you have absolutely no plan to make your team better if you're just going to keep taking quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think everyone's like in this mindset that the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. And I don't know why you do. I feel like you have so many other issues you need to fix. And like maybe Justin Fields isn't the answer, but I'm not sure your team is at the point where you can firmly decide that he's not the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with that.
There are a lot of needy teams that have potential decent building pieces around them that need a quarterback that would pay top dollar to move up.
And if you're the Bears and you say you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and you shore up that offensive line a little bit and Justin Fields can't get it done with DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr. and a little bit better offensive line, then you can make the decision, okay, he's not the guy. Like right now he's throwing the ball to DJ Moore and being blocked by a bunch of turnstiles. So it's a little bit hard to make that decision of whether he's a good quarterback or not. I think at least because he shows flashes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
Hey, at least you're not the New York Giants and paid Daniel Jones how much fucking money? Over $40 million a year.
Speaking of offensive line turnstiles, though, holy shit, those boys can't block to save their damn lives. They could lock arms, Red Rover, and they couldn't move anyone back. Like it's awful.
Speaking of egregious contracts, sorry, quick throwback to the NBA. So the NBA has implemented this thing on ESPN. Like you can go onto the website and it's kind of like Trade Finder in 2K, where it's literally like a system designed where you can like offer trades or whatever. And it shows you their ages and their salaries, their contracts. Ben Simmons is still making $46 million a year. I just wanted to say that.
It's disgusting.
Ben Simmons just falls upwards. It's really incredible. Next thing we know, he's going to be like a head coach, like somehow, or the GM of a team.
Bro, we got like Ryan. We got Luka for cheap, like especially after that AD extension. It's
Bro,
unbelievable.
You heard me say pay him what he wants. I mean, see
Yeah,
all
yeah, I
these dudes
understand.
getting ludicrous contracts.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's-
he
yeah.
fucking want, whatever the max we could offer him.
Yeah,
Pay
exactly.
him.
It's just, yeah, I just wanted to mention that about Ben Simmons real quick because I know we're big Ben Simmons guys here on the
Ah,
Love
shit.
Ben Simmons. Yeah.
So moving on to the next thing, one of the more surprising moves before the trade deadline, the Commanders have traded away two of their star three defensive linemen in Chase Young and Montez Sweat I believe Montez Sweat for a second rounder, and I believe Chase Young was for a third round pick. So yeah, that was an interesting move by the Commanders.
What? Why? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, doesn't seem worth. I don't know. I know Chase Young has had some health issues. I don't really get that move though. To be honest,
I'm not sure if I didn't look at Sweat's contract. I don't know if that's just like a really bad contract for them if they're paying him too much. I don't know. It just seemed odd because the Commanders' best part of their team was their front
D-line.
four. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
you just like threw two of them away.
yeah,
Yeah.
for a second and third round pick. It's like I know second and third round picks are good in the NFL, but like
Right. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of like the NFL is very different. Like getting a first round pick for a trade is very hard to come by.
yeah.
Right.
Like it's just a different league than you see in the NBA where you're just hucking 4 first rounders for guys that are like borderline all stars.
Yeah.
And I don't get the Commanders' thought process because, like, to me, I don't think they're that far away from like competing for the playoffs. Like Sam Howell has looked better than I think anyone expected.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's going to be on a rookie deal for a little bit. Like needs some secondary help. Like this doesn't help you. This just makes your defense way worse.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the thought process.
Sam Howell kind of has been like a Eagles killer, even though like the Eagles like narrowly escaped both times. Sam Howell's looked fucking nuts against them both times.
Yep.
Yeah. So speaking of the NFL, we're going to get into our Week 9 preview of the NFL. It's going to kick off tonight with Thursday Night Football between the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A fucking sicko game that would
And
be.
I feel like we do have to mention Will Levis's performance after taking the job from Ryan Tannehill this past week. Ended up with 4 touchdowns, 3 of those to DeAndre Hopkins, and he looked good. Like there was no two ways about it. He didn't look.
So it's
go ahead.
It's really easy to come up with a game plan to throw against the Falcons. It's called don't throw the ball towards AJ Terrell and you're fine. Like just throw it at anyone else. Like it doesn't matter. Just don't throw the ball at AJ Terrell.
Also, how did Ryan Tannehill not figure out that if you throw to D-Hop, sometimes good things will happen? He might be a little older. The dude can obviously still fucking play.
Yeah.
I mean, like Will Levis is like, oh, let's just throw it to the most athletic guy on our team besides Derrick Henry, and the good things will happen.
I will say, obviously, yes, the Falcons' secondary is not good other than AJ Terrell. But I will say, you could tell that the Titans, and this might be kind of a good thing, they wanted to take risks, which they never really did with Tannehill because I don't think they trusted his arm all that much. Whereas Levis is like, even if you had concerns about his deep accuracy or medium accuracy, like he can huck the rock, like he can toss the ball as far as he wants to toss the ball. So and that's what happened with like all three of the throws. So 2 of the throws to D-Hop, 2 of the touchdowns were just bombs, and then one of them was actually a good slant that he hit him with.
It was like a naked bootleg to the right. He's like scrambling backwards, just hucks it off the yards.
Off the back foot like it was nothing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, his arm strength is pretty incredible. But so yeah, let's get into this week. Let's get into our favorite spreads. I'll take my favorite spread first here. A big AFC matchup between the 5-3 Buffalo Bills and the 4-3 Cincinnati Bengals at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is currently favored by 2 points. I don't think they get it done this week. I think the Buffalo Bills come out swinging. I think that Josh Allen has a 4 touchdown game. And I think the Buffalo Bills end up beating the Bengals and obviously covering because they beat them. Who wants to go with the next?
I like that. I'll go with mine. I got burned not too long ago picking against this team in the spread. And I'm going to do it again because I don't learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
But the Seattle Seahawks are being disrespected right now.
Yeah.
They are 5-2. They've played really, really good football, and they just made another big acquisition at the trade deadline to shore up their defensive line. The Ravens are favored by 6 points at home.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Seahawks will win this game, but I think they cover 6 points.
I think that's fair.
I like the Seahawks at +6 there.
Yeah, I think it's a fair estimation. Ryan, you got a game you like?
I do. It's going to be actually the earliest slate on Sunday. It's going to be the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Now, the Chiefs got fucking embarrassed last weekend against the Broncos, losing 20-something to 9. Mahomes didn't look good. Mahomes hasn't looked good this year. It's
Mahomes flu game.
Mahomes flu game.
Flu season.
Yeah.
Dolphins have got shit pumped by the two good teams they've played, the Bills and the Eagles. And I think that was a big wake-up game for the Chiefs in Denver. They're going to go to Germany. They're going to get a grip. They're going to beat the Dolphins by 2 scores. I think they cover 1.5 easily.
Easily. Do we want to swing it back around on the snake and do the over-under, Ryan, or do you want me to go?
You can go. Sorry, I wasn't ready
yet. So here's what the situation is. I'm not even going to look at the number. I chose my game, and I'm not even looking at the number. Whatever the Colts-Panthers over-under is, I'm going with the under. Because that game is terrible.
There's a lot of games on the schedule that are just slammed unders.
I was gonna say, actually, Connor, that's a little bold because like the Colts and Panthers defenses are both abysmal, but the over under is 44, and that is just way too high. That is just simply way too high.
That's a touchdown too high.
So I do like that pick. I'm gonna go to another game that's gonna be just ugly. The Kirk Cousinless Vikings visiting
Joshua Dobbs.
Joshua Dobbs with no Justin Jefferson. First game with the Vikings visiting Atlanta, who also can score because Arthur Smith is just a football terrorist. The over-under is 37. It's still going under. It just simply is still going under.
Gentlemen, you missed the biggest free under of the weekend. Bears Saints 41.5. Saints games 10 in a row have gone under for the Saints, and you got the fucking Bears. Why is that in the 40s under?
Dude, this is going to be a horrid weekend for fantasy. Holy shit!
Tonight be so bad. Under, Vikings game under, Bears game under, and Panthers under. I think that's a 4-game parlay that hits with ease.
Just to mention really quickly, so in reference to Robbie's game that he picked, the Vikings and the Falcons, like I said, Joshua Dobbs has been traded to the Vikings, and it looks like obviously with Kirk Cousins unfortunately tearing his Achilles, prayers up for Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we hope he recovers. But Joshua Dobbs looks like the new starter. Reportedly, the Vikings were actually trying really, really hard to trade for Jameis Winston, and they wanted Winston to be the starter.
That dude, Jameis,
that would have been crazy.
That would have been sick. Damn.
So I was really hoping that would happen, and then when Josh Dobbs popped up, I was like, "What?" And then also Desmond.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying that also Desmond Ridder has officially lost the starting quarterback job, and Taylor Heineke is now the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. So two quarterback changes this week for that game. So
what happened? What happened to your boy Connor?
He's terrible.
He's bad. He's really bad.
He's really bad.
Imagine Dave if Jameis got traded to the Vikings.
Dude, I wanted Jameis to go
inevitably gets hurt.
Yeah. I wanted Jameis to go so bad.
I know we're not reviewing last week, but I get to mention the fact that the Panthers did pick up a big W last week, and Bryce Young proved that he was the right pick at number 1 overall. Proved it. Played CJ Stroud. Fellas, the Panthers could still make the playoffs. Let's not gloss over the fact that the entire NFC South is dog shit.
This is a sports podcast. This isn't some fantasy land. Let's get a grip.
I didn't say they were going to make it. I just said that they could.
It is really gross that the Falcons are leading at 4-4.
Dude,
correct.
What I say?
You said they were going to win 10 games.
But I said but before that I said they were going to win the division, and then I said they're going to win.
I'm just thankful that the Bucs regressed. They were 3-1 at one point, and Baker was looking like an all-star.
Yeah,
now they've shit the bed. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
It looks like most of the teams have kind of leveled out to where we expected them to be at this point. Because
that's generally how it goes. Yeah.
Because the Bengals were so bad, and now they're 4-3, and it's like it's making more sense now. So it's
dude, I'm in some league where people dropped both T. Higgins and Joe Burrow, and so now I just got them both for free off waivers.
What?
Is it like an 8-person league?
No, 10-person league.
That's gross. You just simply don't drop Joe Burrow in a 10-person league.
Or T. Higgins.
T. Higgins has been kind of ass, but
I still don't think you can drop him.
No.
Yeah.
Also, before we get off the NFL, Cowboys Eagles.
Yep. I was gonna mention,
in the afternoon slate, big game for the NFC East. Both teams pretty poised to make the playoffs. I can't imagine really they don't. Eagles in the middle of a gauntlet. They got let me read the schedule off for you guys. So the Eagles played the Dolphins last week. They get the boys this week. Then they get the pleasure of playing the Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Seahawks. All teams that are like 4 games over 500 right now.
That's tough.
So
there
should be fun.
There are not a lot of good games this weekend.
I'd say there's three. I'd say
There's
Bills,
three.
Bengals, Cowboys,
Dolphins,
Eagles, and then
Chiefs.
Dolphins, Chiefs.
No,
Yeah.
Seahawks,
Ravens.
Seahawks, Ravens. So there's 4.
Yeah,
and then everything else is just fucking awful.
It's really bad.
How are
Dude,
the Jets 4-3 and the Chargers are 3-4?
Yeah,
Can
that
we
is
just
kinda
take a moment there and mention that too? What?
Nope,
Dude.
no idea.
Dude,
The
Cardinals,
Eagles
Browns,
lost to
Bucks.
the Jets. That's their only loss.
Yeah, that was wild.
Jets.
I was
Dude,
very
the
happy.
Bucks and Texans. What is this weekend?
The Bucks and
The
Texans.
Rams and Packers. Dude, what's going on?
It's a
gonna be
sicko
terrible.
weekend, baby.
It's just this is
Giants Raiders.
Dude, this is such a bad week.
Oh, that might be the worst.
No,
That's a
no,
really
that can't be the worst.
Tyrod Taylor and Darren Waller are both out, and Daniel Jones also is. Who's starting at quarterback for the Giants?
And
Wait,
it's-
what? Yeah, who's their
It's-
third string?
It's also Cardinals, Deshaun Watsonless Browns.
Wait, what? Who's starting for the Giants?
Oh, is the guy that came in last
Saquon
week?
Barkley.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
DeVito. DeVito. Don't worry, he went 2 for 7 last week with a -1 passing yards. So I think he's
Well,
ready
if-
for the
If
challenge.
you go to the Giants depth chart, he's not even listed.
That's correct.
That's disrespectful. that's
They
kinda
just signed him this week because Tyrod was hurt.
wild. Oh,
They signed like a full contract this week.
Don't worry,
That's wild.
Waller and Saquon are both out this weekend too.
Wait, Saquon is out? I just saw Waller was out.
He's questionable, and
Oh.
apparently he's not
Trending
trending
towards out.
in the right direction.
Pain.
that's a wild game. All right.
Wow.
So yeah, let's move off the
Gross.
NFL real quick. That's terrible. We're going to get into another quick little sidetrack game here. It's going to be another blind ranking. I'm going to give each of these gentlemen 5 things to rank. You guys have been given separate things. So I remember I wrote this before, so let me pull it up real quick because I was going to do it on another podcast, but unfortunately we had run out of time, so I was unable to do it. But for both of you guys, it is going to be franchises, and I'm going to give you the specific league that I'm talking about. So Robbie, we're going to come to you first because I have you listed first on my notes app. You're going to be ranking NFL franchises. So this is their entire history just of that specific franchise.
Okay.
All right, number 1, the Chicago Bears.
So the Bears obviously have one of the greatest teams of all time, if not maybe what many people consider to be the greatest NFL team of all time. Outside of that, if you look at the Bears' history, it's not a lot to write home about.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
there's not a lot going on.
Mm.
I think just because of the 85 Bears, I think I have to put them at like 3.
Mm.
But I mean, I think their definition of like a very mid franchise. They've had some really high highs and some really low lows.
Yeah.
That's
enough.
fair.
Number 2, the Green Bay Packers.
One of the original franchises. Obviously, the Super Bowl trophy is named after one of their coaches,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So great history. I feel like there might be better teams coming down the line. But obviously, there's a couple of teams that have more Super Bowls than the Packers. I'm going to put them at 2.
Put them at 2. Number 3, you have the Dallas Cowboys.
4.
Wow. Oh God, he's got no respect for the rings, the 90s rings.
Most hyped up and disappointing franchise ever. You guys are fans. Would you disagree with that?
No.
In terms of disappointment?
Well, I mean, in our lifetime, but I mean the 90s. Like you can't discount the amount of Super Bowls.
If I hear
I
the
can do- I
Cowboys
can
in
do-
the
I can do
90s
whatever I want.
listed in
No,
the
but this
Cowboys
is
in the
this is a
90s, man.
franchise ranking. Like this isn't a 2000s ranking.
I can do whatever. This is my rankings. I can
No,
do
you're
whatever I
right.
want.
I'm just saying. It's
Somebody cook this man.
so the 4th team is the Miami Dolphins.
5. That's right where they should be. Again, have had a great team in their history. Not a lot outside of that. So
Now the last team on this list, going in your number 1 slot,
Panthers.
it's the New England Patriots.
Oh, I nailed it. Oh, cash. The only thing I'd probably swap is the Cowboys
and the Bears.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah,
It's solid.
I've heard worse.
yeah, it's not the worst list I've ever heard.
Now watch me cook.
Ryan, we're coming to you franchises, but it is the NBA this time. So you're
Oh,
going to
Lord.
be covering the NBA franchises. Number 1 here, we have the aforementioned Milwaukee Bucks.
This is not an easy one.
Recent NBA champions.
Recent NBA champions. Have had obviously some big names. Had Kareem, got Giannis.
Big O.
Ray Allen.
Oscar Robertson.
Getting there, God.
Yeah.
Between
Kyle
three
Korver.
and, I'm between 3 and 4 for the Bucks here.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with 4.
Okay.
And I think that might be slightly insulting to some, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't put them in 5, so there you go.
Number 2, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Did somebody say the 5 spot because I just found it? No,
LeBron.
I kind of wish I put the Bucks at 3 and Cavs at 4.
But you didn't.
It's going to be tough to put the Cavs at 5 because I think there are some teams that could definitely be a little bit worse than them.
Yep.
But I'm going to do it.
Oh, he's going for it. He's
besides Bron and,
Mo Williams,
Ilgauskas, maybe like Larry Nance,
yeah.
Larry Nance goes hard.
Yeah.
Third team on this list, the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's got to be 1 or 2.
Yeah,
and if the Celtics aren't on the list, they got to be 1. So we're going Lakers at 1.
Most NBA titles in NBA history, so I feel like that's a fair placement there.
You just got to put them at 1. You can't wait.
So with the 2 and the 3 slot left, your fourth team is the Orlando Magic.
That's tough.
That's a tough scene. You had to know someone was coming worse than the Cavs and the Bucks. You had to know that.
Yeah, should have put the Bucks at 3. Hindsight's a bitch, right? The Magic got to go at 3. Shout out Shaq. Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like as much as like the Magic haven't had success, they've had some fun players between like you said, Shaq, Penny Hardaway, T-Mac, like Dwight Howard, and like all that stuff. Like it's been a fun team, even though they've been pretty bad throughout the history.
3's a little high for the Magic there. Yeah, I'll give that.
You'd rather have them both the Cavs and the Bucks, but there's nothing we can do.
And then your last team is the Golden State Warriors.
I think 2 is a fair spot with that list. It should be Lakers, Warriors, Bucks,
Cavs,
Magic. Yeah.
I would say so. Fair ranking, other than you put too much faith in me. You thought I didn't give you. But
a little disrespectful. Put the Bucks at the Bucks that low. I apologize.
Yeah, it's all right. You were strategically playing it. You didn't know what was going to come next.
I wasn't sure if you were just going to twist me around and give it to me. So.
I was waiting for him both times to drop in just some abysmal franchise at 5 because he knows we like to leave the top open.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte Hornets.
That's what I was waiting for. I was like,
Charlotte Bobcats.
They're the same now. We've gotten their history back, so they're one and the same.
All right, we're going to move on from that. We're going to get into our college football preview for this week. Robbie has compiled the 5 games that we're going to be selecting for the pick'em this week. Shocker, shocker! It's all the ranked games is what we're picking.
And I also don't have an update for the standings. I'm going to assume that I'm still winning, and the Connor's probably in second, and the Ryan's in third. I'm just going to assume that. I feel pretty confident that's probably the case.
Fair point.
So we're going to start off here, a nice noon kick in Austin, Texas. We have the Kansas State Wildcats visiting the Texas Longhorns.
Who wants to take this one? Big 12 matchup?
I think you should, Connor. This is your conference.
I am really conflicted in this one because I know a lot of people were saying, there's no way that K-State goes into Austin and takes one off of them. Texas right now at home is only favored by 4. Quinn Ewers, I believe, is still injured. I don't know why. I have a feeling that K-State is going to come into Austin and ruin the party. I feel like Kansas State goes into Austin and takes a win. I don't even have reasoning why. It's just kind of a gut feeling. And this week could be really bad because I know some of the other ones that I'm picking. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with K-State, even though, Texas at -4 isn't a huge upset. But I think in fans' eyes, that would be a relatively big upset. So I'm going to take the Wildcats.
Connor, I love that fucking pick. And I think you said it for all the right reasons. K-State coming in hot. I think they're 81-3 in their last 2 games. They have the best scoring.
82-3.
Excuse me.
Put some respect on them.
They got the best scoring defense in the Big 12. And when you put a best scoring defense in a conference against a backup quarterback, good things are bound to happen. I think at the minimum, K-State covers, and it's a field goal game. But I really do think K-State wins this game. And I think that's a great pick.
If the Texas Longhorns were going to Manhattan, Kansas, I think I'd agree with you, fellas.
Oh,
At home,
damn.
I understand Quinn Ewers is out, but I don't remember
Austin's
that.
just not that scary. Austin
It's
is
not.
not a scary place
It's
to
not
play.
like K-State also just has like weird voodoo in Manhattan that like always helps them out.
Sure.
And they're not going to have that on the road. I do think it's a close game. I agree, but I do think Texas finds a way to pull this one out and stay towards the top of the Big 12 title race.
For Alabama help, I'd love for Texas to win. Right?
We actually need Texas to lose.
We need the Big 12 to implode.
Because the thing is, like,
We
if we win the SEC championship and Texas wins the Big 12 and we're both at one loss, they're going to put Texas in over Alabama,
right?
Because they have the head-to-head.
Yeah, fair point. What's the next one, Rob?
Next one up, a 3:30 kick. Probably the toughest game that the Georgia Bulldogs are going to play until they get to the SEC championship game. The Missouri Tigers, who are having a great year, ranked number 12.
They are. Yeah.
Is number 12, coming into Athens, Georgia, to play the Georgia Bulldogs. Remember, guys, last year Missouri gave Georgia a scare in Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close one. It was the closest game again that Georgia played in the regular season last year. They're still favored by 15 points, which probably feels about right still.
Yeah.
But that is the scene.
Also, just as a note, if you're listening and you didn't know, this is no longer the AP poll rankings. The college football playoff rankings did come out this past week, and these are the new official rankings. So as Robbie said, Georgia is now number 2. Obviously, they were number 1 before, but with CFP rankings, Georgia's number 2, and Missouri is 12 currently.
I completely missed they put Ohio State at 1. Completely missed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which probably makes sense. Ohio State has the most impressive wins out of all the top 5 teams, so it's like you kind of have to. I get that. I guess I'll go again first here. Georgia just finds ways to win. Annoyingly, I do think the Bulldogs will pull this one out. Obviously, I completely agree with Robbie. Other than the SEC championship, and if they make the CFP, Missouri is going to be their toughest task of the season. So I do think it'll be a good game, and I think 15.5 may be a bit disrespectful to a Missouri team that's kind of been cooking.
But Georgia always finds a way. They'll be up maybe by a score in the third quarter, and the next thing you know, you look up and they're up 24.
100%.
That's it. Yeah. It's just one of those things. They just seem to pull away right at the end.
Yep. I mean, you remember like the Warriors, they still do it, but remember that period of time where it was like the after halftime, the third quarter adjustments, and then they would be tied, and then they would come out and be up by like 20 or whatever. Steve Kerr would have them up 20. Kirby Smart kind of does that, but it's like in the last quarter. Right. It's like the same thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Georgia here. Don't have a ton of specific reasoning as to why. I just think that, as Robbie said, I think Georgia just finds ways to win.
I agree. I think Georgia's going to win this game. I think actually Mizzou probably is up at halftime just to give them a little bit of a scare. I think Mizzou is able to start fast. They have some good wins against Kansas State. They beat Kentucky last week. Had a close loss to LSU. Going into Athens is never fun. But like Robbie said, this is the best team that Georgia is going to play to the SEC championship game. And I think that they will give them a little run for their money in the first until those second half adjustments come in. I do think Mizzou covers. I think 15.5 is nice. I think they probably lose by 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only basing this off the fact that the Georgia Bulldogs are due to lose an SEC regular season game. They haven't done it in a while. They're due. They're coming off of obviously a rivalry game last week that they had to get hyped up for. They don't have Brock Bowers.
True. Big loss. Loss.
In no basis in reality do I think this is going to happen, but I'm going to pick Missouri to win this game. I just feel like Georgia's due. You don't have your best player, and you've now seen the offense. Like, I think Florida's not very good in the first place, but additionally, you hadn't seen how Georgia's going to run the offense without running it through Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
You now have some film to see what they're going to do. Missouri's offense is good enough to score on Georgia.
Yep.
They have a really good receiver named Luther Bruden. Really good player. He's been playing well this year. Give me the Tigers. Give me the Tigers. Let's see a crazy upset.
I'm horny. Give it to me. I love it.
Let's get wild.
You're what?
Next game up, another
I'm
3:30.
What?
You heard him.
Let me cook.
The next game up, Connor will be in attendance for this one. Big time matchup in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have Bedlam this weekend. Number 9 Oklahoma Sooners visiting the number 22 ranked, which no one thought was possible with the loss to South Alabama. The number 22 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Ollie Gordon is my man.
So good. He's so good.
Dude
He's,
dribbles skulls off the fucking
It's
ground.
disgusting.
it's pretty unbelievable. Yeah.
We'll let Connor pick this one last. Yeah, we'll let you
yeah.
pick this one last. Connor, I really want to pick Oklahoma State. Like, I really want to.
Yeah.
And if Oklahoma hadn't lost to Kansas last weekend, I would be picking Oklahoma State. You just lost to Kansas. Like, I know Kansas is better than it used to be. But
Yeah.
like, that has to fire you up, right? Like, you still lost to fucking Kansas. I think Oklahoma pulls this one out. They unfortunately seem to have Gundy's number a lot of the time. They're coming off of a big loss that they shouldn't have lost. I think they'll be focused. I do, as much as I want to pick your team, Connor, I do think Oklahoma pulls this one out.
Mom and Dad will never let you back home. Ever.
I think Vegas is giving the rivalry game some respect with giving this line only
I agree.
-6 to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think they are, emotions run high in this game. OU is like 90 something and 20 in this, rivalry series. It's been pretty brutal.
Most of our wins have come in the last decade.
Yeah.
So it's like
last Big 12 matchup for Bedlam here. I really agree with Robbie's point on if Oklahoma doesn't lose to Kansas, this is a good trap game.
Yeah.
Your rival is right here. You're potentially undefeated, looking forward for a college football playoff or looking forward to Texas in the Big 12 championship game again. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Oklahoma State, some receivers have come out of the woodwork. Obviously, Ollie is improved. Your secondary has gotten better. You actually found a quarterback. I think obviously this is a completely different team from the South Alabama game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And deserve to be ranked in the top 25. I just don't think they can get it done. So I'm going to go with the Sooners.
Not so fast.
You just can't pick the Sooners. You go there.
You had to. Yeah. That's why I wanted you to go last. I knew who you were going to pick.
I would just be disgusted with myself
Correct.
if I didn't pick the Cowboys in the last Bedlam ever. The school that I currently attend, I absolutely have to go with the Oklahoma State Cowboys, though, despite head logic. But I will say that, as you guys said, this is a completely different team than was from the beginning of the season. If you had told me after South Alabama that we would be ranked, that we would even be ranked, I would be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I didn't know if we were going to make a bowl game after that South Alabama game, which is funny because that's kind of what happened in 2021 when we ended up making the Big 12 championship. But yeah, like you guys said, obviously Ollie Gordon is like one of the best college football running backs currently in the country. Ryan said the receiver thing. Alan Bowman has done exactly what we need him to do. A big part of this team that I think is going heavily underlooked. Oklahoma State has allowed the least amount of sacks in the entirety of the Big 12. The O-line is brand new. Like for whatever reason, like the O-line got whipped into shape. And actually in the offseason, most of our transfers were like 4-star O-linemen, like a few from Tulsa, a few from wherever. And obviously whatever system that they're using with those guys now is working because as good as Ollie is, we're still giving him the ball 30 times a game. Obviously that has a lot to do with your O-line. Like I said, Bowman isn't really great in terms of his movement, but he's been sacked not that many times, and he hasn't been pressured that many times because of that O-line. So I think that'll come into play. I think there'll be a lot of battles in the trenches this weekend between the O-line and the D-line of both teams. I mean, obviously, Colin Oliver on Oklahoma State, he's one of the better defensive players in the Big 12. I think there are a lot of interesting matchups here. I don't really think, if I'm trying to like logic my way into it, I don't think Dylan Gabriel's all that great. Granted, our secondary is atrocious.
I think that's a good take.
It's a valid take.
Yeah.
So I think we may be able to take advantage of certain opportunities. I don't see OU being able to stifle Ollie, to be completely honest. I don't think they're going to. Obviously, they're going to provide more of a challenge than I think we've had previously, but I still don't think they're going to be able to like completely shut them down. I think we have a chance, even though if head logic might say otherwise. I think there's a 6-point line there for a reason. Last Bedlam rivalry game, emotions run high. Typically, those games are the closest ones. So I think there's a lot going into this game. And as much as a lot of people are saying OU is going to run away with it, I think the Pokes could have a sneaky one here. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Like I said, that Vegas line is pretty telling. You're telling me that an Oklahoma State team that lost to South Alabama going against an OU team that beat Texas and it was ranked like top 5 at one point is only like a 6-point favorite. I think that's interesting.
100%.
Just you're talking about not making a bowl game, Connor. Just as an awareness for everyone, the Clemson Tigers are 4-4, and they might not make a bowl game.
That'd be pretty great.
They are playing Notre Dame this weekend, which if they play like they have been playing, there's just no shot in hell that they're beating Notre Dame. Their next couple games, they have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, just came off a big win against the North Carolina Tar Heels. The next weekend, they have the North Carolina Tar Heels, and then they finish the game with a rivalry game against South Carolina. So you have to win 2 of those 4 games. I don't think it's unreasonable to Clemson finish the season 5-7. Just a little aside there. Next game up at 7:30 Eastern time. The Washington Huskies coming into the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum to play the USC Trojans, coming off just an awful streak of football.
Washington's going to piss on the Trojans.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad.
Washington is going – I think it's going to be 3 scores.
How many tutties does Penix throw for against this defense? This is the worst defense in the Pac-12.
Bro, Cal scored 49 points last weekend.
It might be 6. He might throw for 6.
Dude, the over-under is 76.5. That's just not high enough.
It's
just not high enough.
I texted you guys last week, and at halftime of the Cal game, the over-under was set at 88. I said take the over. It hit because the total points was 99.
Yeah.
I've been on the Washington train all season. They're just gonna piss on them. It's gonna be bad.
I think at least 3 scores.
Washington favored by 3.
That's disgusting.
I don't get that at
disgusting. I think Caleb Williams is gonna have a great game. I do, because he's gonna have to give them any chance of winning this game. But
both these quarterbacks combined have thrown for 49 touchdowns on the season.
Dude, they might throw for 49 Saturday night, honestly. I swear to God.
Dude, Pac-12 defense is like the old, or like 2014 Big 12 defense. Like they just like flipped it.
I would not be surprised to see them trade touchdowns up through halftime.
Yeah.
And then eventually USC is going to start turning the ball over, and that's when Washington's going to pull away.
Yep. So I'm assuming we're all going to Washington on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Huskies. All right, and the last game of the weekend, Ryan and I will be around the area of this one. We might not be in the game, but we'll be there. The LSU Tigers visiting the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Crimson Tide looking for revenge for an overtime loss last year in the Bayou. Connie, you want to take this one first?
I'm struggling. This one I'm struggling with. LSU, even though they have 2 losses, there's a reason that they're ranked 14 with 2 losses. Like, they're 2 pretty decent losses. Bama has had some scares here and there. I'm not super confident in Jalen Milroe, especially when you compare him to Daniels. I'm gonna, because I literally think I'm just gonna like logic it in terms of, I went with the upstate with the K-State game, so I'm gonna go with the favorite in Bama here. Like you said, they're looking for revenge from last year, losing to LSU. They are at home. I think Alabama, Tuscaloosa, I think one of those places where you never really want to play them in Tuscaloosa. I think obviously the stadium's gonna be rocking. Alabama favored by 3 here. I legit can see this game going into like double overtime.
I think this, also like last second field goal is very much so on the cards.
Yeah, 100%. I think
I will be sweating this entire game. I know I will be.
Yeah,
I think this game goes to the very last second, the very last play. I think purely from a pendulum shift thing, I think I'm going to go with Alabama.
This game comes down to LSU's offense versus Alabama's defense, because our offense and their defense has both been shaky this entire year. Yep. The Alabama defense has been very, very good, especially since the Texas game. The LSU offense is electric. Jaden Daniels is fantastic. That's really what it comes down to. Much like Connor, there's just simply no way I'm picking against Alabama. I do think that they win this game. It's going to be close. Like that, there's no way that I think that I would comfortably say we're going to cover 3 points, because we absolutely could lose this game, and we absolutely could win on a last second field goal.
100%.
So I'm going to go with Alabama in a tight one.
Yeah.
Nick Saban will have these boys ready to play. Alabama played their best half of football against the Tennessee Volunteers. They went down at a halftime down 20-7 and outscored them 27-0. The defense stepped up. The offense just started doing what they were comfortable with help from the Tennessee Volunteers, just absolutely shitting themselves.
Collapsing.
I've never seen such a badly called second half up 2 scores against a rivalry opponent. Regardless, I think that gives the team some good film to look at, a good feeling coming off a rivalry game into another one. Sable will have the boys ready. Again, it's another revenge game. I think Bama wins. I do think they cover, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be a sweat the entire game.
Yeah, y'all have me scared that Tennessee game.
Our defense, I simply don't think it's been talked about enough. I think our defense is really very, very, very good.
There's a cat in the background.
You always gotta lag.
What up? He's
The fourth member of the podcast.
He's sitting at his food bowl, disappointed again.
Me going in the kitchen looking for snacks.
Yeah, exactly. Opening the refrigerator like 4 times just to see the same thing in it.
It's got to change, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is our 5th and final game for the pick'em. We will try to have those posted. Robbie, I'm going to send you the template, and I'm going to have you post it because you did a great job last week.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have 2 more quick headlines to cover, and then we're going to get into a little bracket that we're going to be doing. Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou fought the other day in a boxing match, and then I'm going to a split decision after first-time boxer Francis Ngannou took Fury to his limit, even scored a knockdown there. Francis Ngannou, if you don't know, is a big-time UFC fighter, and currently Tyson Fury is the world heavyweight champion. I think it's the WBC, and the fact that Ngannou was even managed to hang with him in his first boxing match, knock him down, and then go to a split decision in a fight that a lot of people thought he should have ended up winning is pretty unbelievable. So just props to Francis Ngannou in that fight against Fury. And then lastly here, sadly, Bob Knight, whose Hall of Fame career was highlighted with 3 national titles at Indiana, one capping an undefeated season not since matched, has passed away. He was 83 years old, but obviously one of the premier college coaches of all time. So yeah,
one of the best college basketball coach personalities of all time too. The scenes of him throwing
just
chairs
the best tantrum thrower, dude.
Yeah,
no one can match that. It's crazy.
Absolutely. So rest in peace to Bob Knight, and obviously well wishes and condolences to his family and those around him. We are going to get into our last thing here. We're doing a bracket in honor of Halloween. That was a few nights ago. We're going to do a bracket with Halloween candy. Now, just so there's no bitching and moaning about the seating, I looked up basically what the most popular Halloween candies were in the United States, and I compiled a list. There was like top 10s and stuff, and I had to fill the other 6 slots with like extra ones that they had said. So this is mostly objective. So that's how the seating kind of works.
I highly doubt that, but we'll see.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Hey, this is how you know there's no Mike and Ike's on the list. So that's how you know this is purely objective.
All right, that's valid.
I did have some Halloween candy in the office today. Can't lie.
Damn straight.
Only 3 small pieces. I was good.
Good. Oh, they're all fun size, so they don't really count.
Yeah.
It's on my
I'm
laptop.
eating dinner also.
So this will work the same way that we did like the sports cities. Basically, Ryan and Robbie will discuss it, and if they can't come to a consensus, then I will be the tiebreaker. So we're going to get into it here. Our first matchup. What? What did I just say? All right, let's try that again. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups versus Three Musketeers.
Dice. That's just a wipe. It's just
real estate.
Let's get this straight. This is not Purdue and Farley, or not Farley Dickinson. Yeah, Farley Dickinson. That's not this matchup, right? This is like Duke and somebody
like a D3 school.
You fucking nailed it. You nailed that one.
It's been a long fucking day, all right?
Robbie's drunk.
I have been in training for the last 3 days. It's been fucking brutal.
That's tough.
No.
All right, Twizzlers and Hershey's.
I fucking love Twizzlers.
You're a Twizzlers guy? Ugh.
I'm a chocolate guy through and through. I will normally pick chocolate over any of like the other shit 9 times out of 10. A little bit of a slut, all right? Sue me.
Hey, yo. So, Robbie, what are you going to?
It's Twizzlers. Hershey's is the most boring candy to ever.
It is. It's
just horribly boring.
He didn't specify. Is it just Hershey's milk chocolate? Just plain.
It's like
if you're saying Hershey's, I'm assuming that's just Hershey's.
Yes, I'll get
As meat as that is, and you could obviously have the dark chocolate with almonds, which is a lot better, and some of the other like
Hershey's dark chocolate is gas. I'm not gonna
the cookies and cream too.
Yeah, people like that one a lot. It's fine.
I'm taking all the variations over Twizzler.
I'm just not a big licorice guy.
Well, I'm not out here eating black licorice. I'm eating fucking Twizzlers, which doesn't even really count because it doesn't taste like licorice at all.
Didn't ask.
It's better.
Gymnast
Chocolate.
Hershey's through.
Objectively better. That's just disgusting.
Incorrect.
You're just both wrong. You're just both wrong. But okay.
I just wanted to mention this real quick.
I am.
I wanted to mention this real quick because this made me really upset when I was doing the quick research that I did for this list. So I found something that was basically what the most popular Halloween candy was per state in the U.S., like what people handed out the most. And there was one state in the U.S. that candy corn was on top of the list. And I want you to guess what state it was.
Is it a state that like produces a lot of corn?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I would
The
guess.
answer.
Are they in the
I
Midwest?
was gonna go Iowa. That's what
I was thinking Nebraska.
It's geographically close.
Indiana, Missouri, Kansas,
One of the Dakotas.
You're too east. You're too east.
One of the Dakotas.
Colorado,
You're too east. You're too
Oklahoma,
Idaho.
more west.
Wyoming.
Missouri.
No, it's Utah.
Okay, we were getting there.
You almost got there.
I said Colorado. You just should have said you're on fire.
Yeah.
You're touching it.
Yeah.
All right. So the matchup here is Snickers and candy corn.
Snickers, hands down.
Agreed.
on Sunday.
I will say I think candy corn gets a bad rap. I will absolutely eat some candy corn, but it's not better than Snickers. So.
God, Robbie's got some weird candy takes. I'm not gonna lie.
Kind of agree, man.
Here we go. This was kind of a sleeper. One of these was in terms of seeding. It's Twix versus M&M's. It's
Best
I think that's a
matchup
good
we've
matchup.
had. Best matchup we've
It's a
had.
Matchup of the day.
Twix was a 13 seed. Like Twix got snubbed.
Huh?
See, again, we have to clarify here, right? If we're talking about just basic M&Ms, I'm taking Twix.
I know what you
Like
mean.
if we're bringing in some like
Yeah.
peanut butter M&Ms,
Mhm.
then we have a different discussion.
The pretzels
crazy.
M&Ms go
Oh.
fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Oh my god.
This one's tough because like Twix, whenever they rebranded with the left and right thing, like it actually made them way better. And I was like, damn, like these are kind of cooking. This one's hard. Twix and M&M's is hard.
I would take Twix.
I'm deferring to you guys.
I think I gotta take Twix.
All right.
Because like I think about like we're talking about Halloween candy, right? And like the
It's an upset.
M&Ms people hand out on Halloween are either the plain milk chocolate
the
ones
regular
or
ones, yeah.
maybe some peanuts.
Yeah,
Maybe
agreed.
some peanut M&Ms.
You're right.
And either
That's
one
a
of
valid
those, I'm
point.
taking Twix.
Fucked.
No.
I want some M&Ms and popcorn right now, dude.
Oh,
Dude, don't give it. Dude, freshman year, that was it's like all I ate. Holy crap. All right, we got a matchup here: Skittles and Butterfinger.
It's a mid-off right here.
Skittles is like I think one of my friends said it the other day is like the most popular Halloween candy that people hand out, like statistically.
I know I'm gonna break my rule of my 9 out of 10. I'm picking chocolate. I think I go Skittles. I think I'm more in the mood for Skittles more often than I am for a Butterfingers.
I'm a Butterfinger guy. Connor knows this when we did our candy draft.
I
took
do remember
Butterfinger,
this.
and a lot of people did not appreciate
They
that
did
pick.
not like
I don't care. I really don't. I like Butterfinger. The texture is just unique, man. Like you get the chocolate on the
give you
outside
that.
and then it gets crunchy in the middle. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Damn, this
Connor,
one's hard.
you have to
I
make
know.
the decision.
Oh, this one's hard because I do like Butterfinger too, but I'm gonna go with my brother here. I'm gonna
just
go
getting
with the
shit on.
Skittles.
I'm just getting shit on.
I will say, like, I hadn't had Skittles in a long time, and a couple weeks ago there was like a pack or whatever, and I had them again. I was like, damn, I was like, those are kind of good.
This one's close. This one like is not like Hershey's versus Twizzlers for me. This one could really depend on my mood, but I'm gonna lean towards
Agreed.
Skittles.
So yeah, if there's any debate about this next one, I might scream. So it's Hot Tamales and Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not as crazy about Sour Patch Kids as a lot of
Oh,
people
I
are,
love
but they're
Sour
Patch Tamales.
they're not in the same zip code. As
No.
each other.
Not even close. All right. So Starburst, and let me specify this next one: the Tootsie Roll lollipops. So like the ones with the Tootsie
Tootsie
Rolls in the
Pops.
middle. Yeah, Tootsie
Yeah.
Pops.
Tootsie Pops.
Tootsie Pops wins.
Or- so that's okay. I was just
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Milky Way versus Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Wow. right.
Hair
No
trigger.
I actually
Milky
I wanna,
Ways are very overrated.
I'm a big
I want
Milky
to
Way
go back
guy.
to the last matchup. I was just specifying that they're called Tootsie Pops. I absolutely would take Starburst.
Oh shit.
Oh wait. Oh,
Sorry, I was
Oh,
just
shit.
specifying the name. I would
we
absolutely.
gotta go
take
back. Gotta
Starburst.
go back. So Ryan, you said Tootsie Pops.
Yeah. Starbursts are just
You're just wrong. What is?
Oh my God! Stop being so ugly.
I'm gonna go with Robbie on this one. I'm gonna go with the
shit on.
Starburst. See, the only problem is I like the lollipop. I don't like Tootsie Rolls, and so I don't like when it gets to the
You
middle.
just throw it away when you get to the middle.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's like it's a whole part of the candy that's just pointless.
Wait. You would rather have the lollipop part of a Tootsie Pop than Starburst? What is wrong with you?
I'm
Just eat a fucking
No.
lollipop.
No, but I was saying that. No, I was saying that's the reason that I would take Starburst over.
Yeah, no, I was getting on Ryan, just saying he just throws it away and he's
that is kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
He's angry at me.
So
Disrespect.
we'll move Starburst through there. On to the second round now. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups versus Hershey's.
Reese's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be. Agreed.
Dude, but you gotta.
Oh my God,
freeze
this
them.
is disgusting.
Little frozen Reese's. Oh.
Check this
Also,
out.
you can get the pumpkin shaped ones. Like the shaped Reese's are better than
Dude, the
any of
Reese's
the other Reese's.
eggs for Easter?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
With the trees, do you get the
Shut it
trees for
down.
Christmas? Yeah.
Shut it
yeah.
down. It's so
Yeah, if
funny.
you said Reese's eggs,
It's
we wouldn't be having a
wouldn't-
draft.
Yeah. We wouldn't be doing that.
It's quite simple.
Here you go. Here's a matchup: Snickers and Twix.
This is a matchup that's closer than most people would give it credit for.
Yeah.
Because I think Snickers. We talked about this. Snickers is very overrated.
Correct.
I agree. I think Snickers is
I
overrated.
think.
I mean, I would go Twix, to be completely honest.
I'm a whore for a Twix.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm on board with the Twix train. Yeah, I'm there.
All right, we got a little fruit matchup here in terms of the candy: Skittles versus Sour Patch Kids.
I'm gonna get shit on for this take, and it's gonna.
yeah,
I'm
take
gonna go
Skittles.
Skittles.
I don't hate that. I don't think. I don't know. This is a close matchup for sure. It's Sour Patch Kids.
I'm also going to be going with Sour Patch Kids. So
I figured I'd lose that, so I'm not too upset.
it's a fair point. The last matchup in the second round: Starburst versus Kit Kat.
It's Kit Kat.
Yeah,
and I'll
Ryan
hear
wants to know the
none of that. I'll hear none of it.
Are you going Starburst, Robbie?
I'll go Kit Kat because if I don't, I'm just going to be
Oh,
overruled.
no,
so
you were going to go
matter.
Starburst.
It doesn't actually. I would have to think about it, but it doesn't matter. So we're just going to go Kit Kat.
Fair enough. All right, and we are in the semifinals. Real quick,
Final four, one might say.
Yeah, Final Four. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Twix.
God damn it!
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's
we didn't-
it's been a Cinderella run for Twix. I don't know that I can move them past.
They're
Reese's.
playing the juggernaut, man.
I don't know that I can do that, especially because like Halloween is cold enough. Like you can still get the Reese's a little bit cold. It's not the same as putting them in the fridge or the freezer. Like you do get a little bit of that cold in there.
See, here's the thing with me.
Mm.
I'm a chunky boy. I enjoy my candy. If you're putting a Twix right here, you're putting a Reese's right here, and you're like, choose one, I say no. I take both. That's essentially how this goes down. I'm never having to make a choice between the two, which is why I'm sitting here upset.
You are now.
All right, well, here we'll put it this way: you have to make a choice. You're a kid again. You have to walk up to a house for trick or treating. They have a bowl of Reese's, they have a bowl of Twix, and the person's standing right there. And they're like, you can take one piece of candy. They're watching you, so you can't pull the shoe. You take a handful and run away. They're watching you, and they say you have to pick one piece of candy.
Damn, he got you.
Dude, I think I'm going Twix.
Wow.
I think I am.
That's kind of crazy.
My heart spoke to me on that one. I'm a little emotional over here.
Robbie, you said the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
I did. Yep.
I'm gonna have to side with you, my friend. I agree.
That hurts.
I don't get me wrong. Like Twix has in the past 5 years has shot up in my candy rankings. It's like easily top 5 now, but Reese's has always been the number 1 for me. So it's like I gotta go Reese's. On the other side, Sour Patch Kids versus Kit Kat.
Kit Kat's made a strong run, and it's going to continue it into the finals.
I know you're not picking Sour Patch Kids. You don't like Sour Patch Kids.
They're just not. They're fine.
You ever had the watermelon
I would not waste calories on Sour Patch Kids.
You ever had the watermelon ones?
I would go in and pick chocolate-covered pretzels over Sour Patch Kids. I'd pick fucking Snack Mix Cheez-Its over Sour Patch Kids.
That's crazy. I'll give you the chocolate-covered pretzels because chocolate-covered pretzels are gas. But I don't know about that. Yeah.
I agree. I think Kit Kat is better than Sour Patch.
Damn it. All right. We got to move it on. I would pick Sour Patch Kids.
Don't care.
The finals, funnily enough, are the number 1 and the number 2 seed between Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Kit Kat. Where are we going?
I will give this to Reese's. For me, it is Reese's, Twix, Kit Kat, Snickers. I think is what
you said you were going to go with. But you picked Twix over Reese's last round.
Sorry. Yes, Twix, Reese's, Kit Kat.
He's flip flopping here, kind of. We can't.
Yeah, y'all are in my head. I'm starving.
So the night and dinner, Reese's Sweeps.
The winner of the Halloween candy bracket is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I'm excited to do a bracket later in a few weeks that will be talking about Thanksgiving food because there may be some heavy disagreements with Thanksgiving.
I have some fucking opinions, and they're going to be heard on this podcast.
I have some takes, and they're not good, but I do have some.
I got some white ass takes, and you're going to hear them. So stay tuned. Right.
So that bracket was the last thing that we were doing. Who wants to sign us out?
I can do it for myself and Ryan and Connor. Thank you for listening to another great episode of the podcast. Please like, subscribe, interact, all of those things on all of our social media. And please gamble responsibly.
Bye-bye.